My boss at HBO, Scott McElhone, was on the board for like 10 years. And I remember him telling me, Nikki, where I go, you go. And he said, I am a recipient of white male privilege. And he's like 6'3", 200 and something pounds, tall and broad. And he said, I walk into rooms and it's just assumed that I'm supposed to be there. So I'm going to lend my equity to you in the spirit of where I go, you go. And he didn't just say it, he meant it. Years later, sure enough, I got a promotion maybe like every 2 years, but it was the promotion to VP. He said, I have to take on other responsibilities. I won't be able to dedicate my time to 2 boards that really mean the world to me. And one of them was EBF. So I joined the board and was on the board for 5 years and fell in love with these students. They give me life. And so I'd much rather work with students than adults because they're passionate and they're like sponges. So my experience, I started as a mentor of 4 fellows. I think they were scholars at the time. And then I was like, this is too good to be true. But it seemed like every summer, because I was overseeing talent management, we were overseeing the internship program. So then I, by default, was responsible for how many Emmas were coming into the building. And I feel like a year or 2 later, Rasan called me and he said, Nikki, I don't think you know this, but HBO is the only company that has double-digit numbers of of Emmas, meaning alums working in the building. And I was like, really? He said, yeah, there's like 23 or 24 of them in the building. I had no idea. I just hire good talent, right? I don't even know that I was thinking necessarily with a lens for EBF. But that just speaks volumes about the quality of the experience that there we had. But the fact that we were able to get 20 plus in the building, that's really when I fell in love with the foundation. There's a gravitas, an energy. This rites of passage experience that you all have is so unique to this experience. There are plenty internship programs, but not the way we pour into these students. And maybe because I take it personally, they look like me. So when I'm talking to them, I feel like I'm talking to me. And I know how people poured into me. I've had mentors for forever. I've got sponsors everywhere. I've earned it, right? We have to build and pour into those relationships. But maybe because I came up with this experience of lift as we climb, you are supposed to hold the door open for the next generation that's coming behind you. The fact that I get to be hands-on with this next generation of what I call future C-suite leaders, I don't think that's what I was thinking about in that moment. It was not for profit, from for profit. And I think it took my close circle of girlfriends to be like, you're bugging. How do you say no to this? This is your passion. This is what you do. You started your career in education. You transitioned from education to corporate financial industry. I hated it. And then I consulted with just about every industry, but I didn't like the hustle of that. I wanted something permanent. I wanted a home. I just didn't know that it would happen at HBO and that the beauty of being at HBO would introduce me to the foundation. Oh, these Emmas, they give me life. I tell you all the time, the alums are walking billboards of the organization. I tell new potential partners, I can show you better than I can tell you. That's why I invite everybody to come here. This is like, it's a secret that shouldn't be a secret. So when people come here and they see the yous, the me's, although I didn't have this formal experience, there's a sense of pride that comes with this, that as the mama bear, I'm like a peacock. Yes, look at all this talent that's here that people have the nerve to say they can't find. When thinking about the future, I actually think about Emma first and what would she want? What would she say, right? Like kind of like what would Jesus do? What would Emma do? That's often what guides me. And while I think at the time in the 70s and in the 80s, hence our founding in 1989, I think at the time the mission was clear. We just needed to see our faces in high places, on TV, in front of the camera, and behind the camera. We've done that. We've had 35 years of showing out. We've proven what folks would have said can't happen. Well, we're living it. So the future to me is an and. So we have our bread and butter with our internship experience, this rites of passage program. But then I think development areas, we have to think about how do we future-proof the organization. I think we need to delve into more development. I think we need to open up how we're doing the work, who has access to the work. So my thinking is we probably need to go beyond what is considered hardcore media and entertainment. And just as we have the NFL in the mix, I'd love to see all the leagues in the mix. I'd like to see products and services become a part of the fold, not overnight, because we've had such deep roots in media and entertainment that the idea of entering into a different industry, while I think we're ready for it, we'll have to prove ourselves in a new industry and start from scratch while we're still perfecting our dance. You just need to come to the June board meeting. Because if I can get you in the room where you can see all this melanin, brilliant young talent, I don't have to say anything else to you, because the truth is I shouldn't have to sell you on the work that we do at the foundation. Anyone who comes here and can see what we just witnessed would want to get on board. Right? Like, this is not a one and done organization. The reason we have an alumni association and we have this presence with our alums, even you coming into the fold to be on the other side of the velvet rope. I think there's a theme here around when your alums come back and do the work and give of their time, talent, and treasure, which is what I say all the time, without having to browbeat somebody to do that. That's special. So how do we harness that? I'm only giving what I got. People have poured into me my entire life. My mom, my dad's, because I have two, my godmother. Like, I have a village, a true village that told me I can do it all. I can do it all at the same time. There's no such thing as can't. There's no such thing as won't. So I feel like I came up in an environment that was incredibly supportive. So that's all I know. I can only give what I got. So my making time, isn't that what I'm supposed to do? I have a whole team. We have a board. They can do all the other things. Time, talent, treasure. Like, that's my motto. Time, talent, treasure. My mother used to say it all the time. And I tell them, you may not be able to give all three, but you give what you can when you can until you can do all three. So I feel like I'm just living my grandmother's legacy, my mother's legacy. I also have a 10-year-old at home who's watching me. Everything I say, everything I do. So believe it or not, she inspires me. And I hope one day she's an Emma. I look at all of them and I see me. I see my family. I see young people who are brown. You know, I say brown universally for all people of color. It's in my DNA, right? Not to be corny, but it is. So I don't have to think about it. It's not something I have to wind myself up to do. It just is. But it's because I lived in love and I lived in support, and I've always been told the sky is the limit and only I can get in my own way. So I just give those very gems to this next generation because I don't know who else is telling them, and I don't want to assume who's telling them. So I'm a hugger. You know I'm a hugger. I hug them all. I don't know how many hugs today, yesterday. With each class that graduates, if you get it right, now they're paying it forward. Now they're taking the love they got and giving it to someone else, because that's what we're supposed to do. So I feel like I'm just modeling what was modeled for me, honestly.